Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to stir the pot with the Express Independent Thought with TJ, Cheryl, and Squirrel as they lead us into conversation on the Brew.
Are we here?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know why my camera isn't on.
I know mine is like really tiny, tiny small up there.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
John might have to take a run up here to see what's going on.
Tell John to get his shit together. There we
There
go.
How are you?
Good. I'm fighting with my phone and I'm going through a drawer of, I was going through a drawer of chargers, you know, because every man has to keep every charger that was ever, I swear to God, my husband has chargers from the 80s and I cannot find one single charger to charge my tablet. Not one.
Oh, wow. I wonder how come.
Well, because he keeps chargers from 1980 that I don't even know. I've got a whole drawer full of just frickin' chargers.
Huh.
So
John,
he's like,
can you make me a little louder? Oh, I'm just off screen here. I don't know what's going on today. This is crazy stuff. Always tech is always so hard sometimes.
That's what I'm fighting with. I'm trying to get my TV, my phone to stream through my TV. It's always worked, and now today it doesn't. And I'm not technology smart. I admit it.
I'm not
I'm
either.
not. When it comes to technology,
Hi, Greg. Greg's joining us, Mr. Tyler. He needs to come on and talk with us at some point when he can get in, because I know he does his show on Monday nights. So sometimes it's kind of hard. Cheryl, actually, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Brew here on TIBN. Cheryl is having so many issues with her truck right now. Oh, my camera. My whole computer just moved, for Pete's sakes. Well, anyways, she is having a hard time. She has to be in Chicago tomorrow. She's had a couple of blowouts on tires, so she's just having a really, really fun day. If she can come in, she'll try to or call in, but it's going to be a really tough thing for her today because we all know how much that sucks.
I know. We're battling trailer lights. I don't know. We have all our lights on our trailer work except for the right rear blinker. And it'll work, then it'll stop, then it'll work again, and it'll stop. So Scott's over there trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with our trailer lights.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like everybody's having problems with everything lately, and it's just crazy. John had a couple of things he had to do this week on the trucks. It's just kind of crazy. Anyways, today is, as you know, it's International Women's Day.
Then why am I cooking today, Cheryl?
Huh?
Why am I cooking today?
I don't know.
Why am I cooking today?
I don't know. Women's Day. I've been cooking all day too. Well, I went out for breakfast, but then I cooked. I can't get my sound to go up, and I'm not sure why. Maybe John can come up and.
I can hear you fine.
Yeah, I can barely hear people. I don't know. It's probably my computer. No, but it is International Women's Day, and it just strikes me as kind of funny because when you're listening to all these people protesting everything that's going on in America and how we're not helping, the trans women, but they're not women. This is about women. This isn't about XXs. This is about XYs today. And if you're not an XY, then don't consider yourself being a woman. But there's a lot of things, in a lot of countries where women are still second and third class citizens, and that hasn't changed in probably, I don't know, over a century. That's still going on. And, people don't bitch about that. There's more bitching about how come we're not letting trans men or trans women, whatever you want to call them, into womanhood. Go to one of those countries and see what happens. That's all I can say. Because
Well,
I was watching a video today, Lisa, and it was just absolutely disgusting. This woman went to one of the committees in Congress, and she's very, very upset because her teenager um, is transing from male to a female. And oh my goodness, I don't know what's going on with that. Can you hear me still?
I can hear you, but your
Yeah, I
screen
don't know. I
kind
don't
of
know
went
what that's
wiggly and
about.
then froze.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I can still talk. It's frozen. There I go. God, I look like I got something wrong with my eyes there. But anyways, this mother it goes before the Congress, and she's trying to downplay that her son penis is not erect 90% of the time.
Okay, I don't get that.
So I'm thinking 90% of the time, so 10% of the time, yeah, not most men aren't even erect 10% of the time. So what are you saying about your son here, honey?
I mean, I
Um,
guess I don't understand.
yeah, and how does mommy know this?
Yeah, exactly. And why are you concerned? And how old is this child?
He's a teenager. I can't really, but mommy has to do all the talking for him, even in school. Mommy takes over. So to me, I personally feel that this is a form of child abuse.
I guess I don't understand. You know, I don't even know what to say to that. I don't because it's just weird. It's just fucking weird.
It is really weird, but to go before Congress and to say that, I mean, what does that say about our son? What does that say about the whole situation? I mean, I'm like, you go there and you say, well, he's not erect 90% of the time. You're his mother. Yeah, this is something really wrong with our society because, yeah, I mean,
I have thought that for years. And I was watching a video today too about these women, and I cannot remember where it was at because I was cooking and doing laundry and trying to do 18 other things. But they're protesting and they're naked from the waist down, and their tatas are painted, and they're just protesting down the middle of the street naked.
what are they protesting?
Women's rights, I assume.
And, women's rights. I don't get this. I don't get why we have rights. It's in the Constitution that we all have rights, okay? What rights do we need? Well, I would like to have the right not to have to share a bathroom with some man I don't know who's pretending
Exactly.
to be a woman. I mean, I would say, okay, that's a right. When they're always saying it's really funny when they say, my body, my this, my that, my right. Well, if you care enough about yourself, you don't have to worry about having an abortion because there's actually over 75 ways of not to get pregnant today.
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah. So we can get rid of that whole thing. And what bothers me is how many women senators and how many women representatives have we had in our government since the 1950s? Not one of them has ever came up with a bill about the abortion. Write a bill. It's not in the it's not a constitutional right to have an abortion. But if you want it to be in the Constitution, you need to write a bill, send it through Congress, send it to the senators, get it passed. But none of them have done that. But every time they come up for re-election, Lisa, what do they start telling to us?
Women's rights,
Women's
abortion.
right. They're taking
Okay,
away your right to have an abortion. Well, it's not a right to have an abortion. There's nothing saying that it's legally a right.
what I don't understand, Tracy, is okay, so some states want you to be able to have an abortion up to your due date, correct?
Yeah, that's disgusting. That's murder.
But did you not know you were pregnant for 9 months? And then all of a sudden, the day before you're scheduled to have your baby, you think, I just don't want it anymore? I mean, you had prior time to figure this shit out, whether you wanted a child or not. But you want to wait until like the day before you're supposed to have your baby or your due date and say, you know what, I changed my mind. I don't want it anymore. I don't understand.
I don't get it either. And actually, by that time, it's murder. Actually, it's murder anyways, and that's my opinion. But I mean, you would think at 6 weeks when you know you usually between 6 weeks you find out you're pregnant, okay, and maybe that's when they tell their boyfriend that yeah, I'm pregnant, and that's when he says, oh no, let's do this, let's have an abortion or whatever. And that's usually when it happens. But are they
Yeah.
a girl, instead of teaching these girls to get pregnant to get a man, teach them not to get pregnant to get a man, because that doesn't always work. Start telling the young girls, the truth about things. That's not how you catch a man. That's not how you're going to have an easy life. A lot of them think, well, I'll do what my mom did. She's got 4 or 5 baby daddies, and I don't have to work. I can stay home and collect welfare. Well, that doesn't work anymore because welfare won't pay for you after the second child anymore.
And therefore they shouldn't. I have me and Scott have one child together. I have one child from my previous marriage, and he has one child from his previous marriage. So after we had our child together, which is, our youngest that we have together, we thought about having another baby, and we both decided we don't have the money. Wait, who's going to help us raise this child? We don't. So we did not get pregnant. I mean, it's that fucking simple. Some people say it's not, but I think it is. You can't afford a baby, don't have one.
I know. And you don't even have to get pregnant today. Not like when I was a teenager. Boys couldn't. If a boy wanted to go get condoms when I was a teenager, they had to go to the local pharmacist, and the local pharmacist knew your mom and dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. They knew your mom and dad, and same with girls. I think when I turned 16, they finally opened up a clinic in Nashua that you could go get birth control. But even then, you had to get permission to get pills. And who they're going to send the script to? The pharmacist that knows your mom and dad.
Yeah.
So it's a
I
little.
don't, this whole women's right. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I had a long conversation with one of my daughter's friends. Now my daughter's 24, and her friend is very much a liberal, 100% a liberal, and she feels that my body, my choice. That if a woman wants to get her tubes tied, or if a woman wants to not have children anymore, she has to have permission from her husband. And I don't know if I assume different states have different laws.
Yeah, because we don't have that law.
See, we don't in Nebraska either. Because I told her, I said, when I got my tubes tied, I went to my doctor and said, I don't want to have no more children. And he said, okay, let's do it. There was no husband had to sign off on it.
No. And I don't, that was something that happened in the 50s and the 60s.
Yes.
That hasn't happened probably in the last 30 or 40 years. But, it's easier for people that want to keep this crap going to keep that in people's heads.
Well, yeah, and like I told her, I said, that's not the truth. That's not, I mean, it and maybe different states, I guess I haven't researched it enough to find out if different states have different laws on that. But as far as like Nebraska, where we live, you don't have to have your husband's permission for shit.
Yeah, same here in New Hampshire. It was the same way in Florida. But what also bothers me when they're saying my body, blah, blah, blah. What about all the other things that come up? What about when COVID came out? Everybody was forced to take a shot. And you won't hear them say, my body, my rights, my choice. No, you were forced to do that. So what's all these screaming memes then? And now we're finding out the RMNA shot, all the stuff in it, is really causing havoc now. And the insurance companies do not have to be held accountable. Biden signed that bill that they won't be held accountable, and they should have been.
We did myself and my husband did not have the shot.
We didn't either.
I debated on it, and everyone just kind of gave me a lot of shit about it. But my debate on it wasn't because of the shot. It was because if we were not sure how everything was going to play out, if you were going to be able to get on an airline if you didn't have the shot, if you were going to,
they scared people. Yeah,
they did. And with the job that me and Scott do and being so far away, my fear was, what if something happened to Sierra and I needed to fly home?
Yep. No, I understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people were put in that position, Lisa.
Yeah. And
I mean,
my daughter had to get it for college. They would not let,
exactly.
she's a nursing student. She
Yeah.
had to get the shot.
Yeah. I'm teaching in a school. I didn't get the shot. First of all, I had a note because I'm allergic to serum anyways. But the thing was, this was another thing. We were all held hostage by the teachers' unions. They didn't want anyone going back to school. They didn't want this. They didn't want that. And look what it's done to our kids. Look at, it's awful. I can't even tell you how bad it is. Some of us had to go back. So when we went back, you were forced to wear a mask. And if you have asthma or COPD or any type of lung obstruction, when you put a mask on your face, you're inhaling your CO2, your own CO2, which is making you sick all the time.
You
So I
know,
mean that was another thing. I mean all these things coming into play, and then you found out it's all a lie. The whole thing was a lie.
everyone stayed home and,
Yeah,
they didn't go to work. They didn't go to their jobs. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. But yet, us truckers, we were still out there every
yeah,
day.
yeah. I mean
Every day we were going.
we were supposed to be teaching from home, so the government comes out that everybody gets a little laptop, a little Chromebook, and you're going to be teaching them on a Chromebook. Well, we had a student who was in the swimming pool with his Chromebook, and actually what happened that, right? Yeah. So there goes one. They passed out over 730 Chromebooks from my school, and they got back 125. Who do you think paid for those?
Yeah.
Not the parents. Not the parents. Us hardworking middle class people paid for
Mhm.
it. So
So
I mean, the whole
I,
thing. The whole thing about my body, my choice. Well, there's a lot of things you're not making a choice on. When the doctor tells you need a vaccination, you do it. You're not taking a choice. You believe what the doctor says. And a lot of doctors did not want the people to take these COVID shots. And a lot of doctors, they will tell you, when you go the first time you go to your gyno, when he says, "Have you had, abortions? You've had any miscarriages or anything else?" Because they'll tell you, if you want to get pregnant after you have an abortion, you might never get pregnant again. They don't understand what that actually does to the body. So
I guess, my thought is, my body, my choice. Maybe it's because we're from an older generation, and I don't believe that any of my rights have been taken away with my body. I mean, I still can do whatever I've always been able to do. There is nothing that has changed that I can't do now that I used to
well,
be able to do.
exactly. I'm older than you. I've never had. I've had the same thing. I don't have any of my rights taken away. I mean,
Yeah.
I did do a lot of feminism stuff in the 70s and 80s, and that was mostly about equal pay. The abortion issue wasn't even an issue then, really, and it only became an issue in maybe since Clinton. I think it kind of started well after him because I don't remember during the Clinton years that it was a big deal about my choice, my body, but they brought all this stuff in because it's all a distraction to what's really going on. I mean, every time we have a presidential um, year comes up where we need a new president or when you need your new senators, because all your senators are starting to come up, their terms are done in 220 and 26. So as women, we will be held hostage once again to, and then it bothers me because you're talking about the abortion issues on one hand, and on the other hand, women's rights, women's rights. Well, women need rights not to become second class to men again in our spaces. You know, you know what I mean? They're oh yeah, 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 women this, women that, and the next thing you know, oh well, we're not going to vote on the trans thing because if we're going to just stay in the middle of the road. Really, they had that vote in Congress, and not one Democratic woman stood up for it. Not one. You get loudmouth AOC, you get Crockett, all these women are out there. Oh, the Fight Club. We'll call them the little Fight Club. They voted no. You voted no, and you're out there telling me that you're some special woman, and you voted no on the woman's right not to have to share our space with men?
See, I didn't get
Why?
that either. I don't understand how. I don't know. Maybe I think what the world lacks right now is a little bit of fucking common sense. We
I
have
think
no we have no common sense anymore.
no, we don't.
I mean, we don't.
We
Yet
don't.
I went to a gas station the other day. I don't even remember where we are, Trace, but it literally said on the pump, "Do not insert in rectum." And I thought, who the fuck inserted this in their butthole in order to have this sign?
Yeah.
It's like our common sense is gone. It's just gone.
Well, that's like McDonald's coffee. Caution, hot.
Yeah. It's gone. There was a hanger the other day and it said do not swallow. Who the hell would swallow a metal hanger? I mean, it's just the common sense that we
Well,
used to
because
have.
you had these now on cinnamon. They put on the cinnamon things. Don't eat this by the teaspoons, like the college kids were doing. Or
Yeah.
how about eating pods, Tide
Oh,
pods?
Tide Pods. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
let's do that. I mean, it was just awful. I mean, you're right. No common sense. We have colleges like when Trump won. Oh, the first time around, we had to have rooms for them to go cry in, and oh my God, suck it up, Buttercups. You gotta live. I can't even imagine. I can't imagine being in some of these other countries and watching, and they're watching these people, these kids acting in this manner, these semi-adults, because they're not adults. They think they're adults, but they're semi-adults because they can't cope. They can't focus on reality of what's going on. Like you say something to them, like the other day when they censored Al Green for what he
Yes.
did during that. Okay, now to me, if I was a voter in Texas and I voted for him, I'd be after him because this is crap. And now he's out saying it's a racist thing. It wasn't a racist thing. What you did was wrong. You got censored for your stupidity, for acting like a moron in our house. Those people forget that's the people's house. That's our house. And acting in that manner and thinking you're going to get away with it. And now it's he's going to be a racist. And the other one, Crockett. And the things that she has said about our president and the way she's acting. Now, if I had said that about Biden, I probably would have got arrested.
There's no different than the idiots holding up those signs during his speech. I don't,
Exactly.
you acted childish. You're being called out on it. And now you're circling the wagons trying to figure out what the hell you're going to do to make yourself look better. But you actually, kindergartners act better than you guys did during that
It was
speech.
awful. It was
awful.
I don't care if you're a Democrat or if you're a Republican or whatever you are. That was awful.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're mad, and I'm thinking to myself, what are you mad about? Are you mad that Musk? I mean, Trump has the right to hire whoever he wants. I mean, that's his right as president. Are you mad because they're finding out stuff? Are you mad because like Crockett out of Texas? She's only been a rep for a really short time. Okay, how come when you start at $180,000, you have 2 or 3 years behind you? Now you're worth $9 million.
Exactly.
How does that happen? I want that job. Okay?
I do
want that
too.
job.
I would like to be able to be worth millions and only making so much a year.
Yeah. So are they mad because they're finding out all these little things, all these things that we're spending trillions of dollars on, and they're all getting kickbacks, and now it's not going to happen for them?
So am I wrong that Trump wanted to cut off all of Congress credit cards? Is that was a fact, right?
I don't know. I haven't read about that yet.
So supposedly Trump wanted to cancel all of their credit cards.
I think that's a good idea.
Were run off the government. Now I did not dig a lot into this story. I heard it. And the courts came back and said you cannot do that. So therefore, Trump said, "Fine, I'll put a limit on them."
Well,
You
that's what.
can't. Yeah,
Why can't he do that? He's the president. He's the one who's in charge of all that crap.
yeah. I
But
think
see,
they're just mad that their money is being cut off, and they can't do. Nancy Pelosi can't buy her $100 tub of ice cream anymore.
oh, I know. Isn't it incredible? I mean, and I don't even get how people can't see through what's actually happening. Look at this. Canada's going to be against us. Oh, Canada will come around. Mexico will come around. They'll all come around because you know what they need? They need our money. They'll all come around. Oh, he's, Trump and Putin are best friends. No, honey. Did you ever hear it's best to keep your enemies close? I mean, come on, people.
They're talking about, the prices of eggs. And, he's been in office just a little while. And they're like, well, eggs haven't went down, this
Well,
hasn't went down. And it's like,
first of all, Biden ordered 150 million chickens killed. Biden ordered that.
I mean, how much is a dozen eggs where you are?
I buy the jumbo, $6.99.
That's what they are here. So I try and tell people it depends on where you live. Because I went to the store the other day and my eggs were $5.99 for a jumbo dozen, and it's like
I buy jumbo.
$12.
Yeah, if we buy large or anything like that, it gets cheaper. But I mean, the thing is, you're only allowed to buy like two now, two dozen. But I mean, like big snot. But I mean, he ordered all those chickens, so it's going to take a good 6 months for that to come back. And with all these tariffs, well, we're not going to have our food. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't feed my family any food that comes from China.
Yeah.
At all. And I know a lot of people do, but no, there's no way in hell because they don't have the sanitary practices we have, and who knows what they're putting in our food.
I don't believe that either. We try and eat as healthy as we can here.
Yeah.
A lot of the foods that we buy are from farmers. We get our meat from the Mennonites. They have a farm. They butcher all their own cows. We buy all of our meat from there. We buy our eggs from there too. We have several produce that make produce around here. We buy all of it from them. We don't buy a lot of stuff at the store. We buy it local.
Yep.
Yeah. You want to think about
I don't buy anything
about eggs.
Yeah. Well, they say, meat's going to come. Well, if we didn't kill most of our farms, if we didn't have all these issues with the pork a few years ago when they were killing them with some disease, everything has the disease. Everything comes together. So
yep.
I'm not a big conspiracy person, but it's like, wait a minute here. But our senators and representatives, none of them have to suffer. And they're always saying, Trump's doing this. Well, actually, you got to give the guy some time. He hasn't been there enough.
Mm-hmm.
We gave Biden 4 years, and look what he did to us.
I know. So, did you hear what Arkansas is trying to do?
No.
I'm sure John has probably heard about it. That they are trying to make it so that if you do not speak English, you do not know how to read, if you get picked up in their state, you will get a fine and your truck will be impounded.
Oh, wait a minute. When you're saying you don't know how to read, are you saying if you don't know how to read, write, and speak English?
Exactly.
Well, did you know that? I thought there was a federal law before you got your CDL, you had to be able to read and write.
Well, there is, but you see a lot of, we used to haul seed corn, and we hauled a lot of seed corn into Pioneer in York. Half the drivers that would come in there could not speak English at all.
Yes, I know. I know. I had that problem here in Hudson one day. There's a cemetery by where I live, and this truck. I'm watching this truck, and he slows down. and he gets out. He stops, and he gets out, and he takes his manifest, and he goes to me. He points to it because he doesn't speak English.
Yeah,
he's pointing to it, and he wanted to go down. He needed to go to Walmart. So I kind of tried to draw him a little map, but he couldn't speak English, and I always think that. To get a CDL license, let's face it, even to be a doctor in America, you have to know how to speak, read, and write English. For me, even as a teacher, if you want to go to teaching and you want to teach, I'm going to be the Spanish teacher, you still have to read and write English. You still have to speak it. To teach, even though you're going to teach a language, you still have to do it. So why they did that. Why, well, and Biden was giving all these immigrants, not just CDLs, but he was giving them driver's license,
Mhm.
and they can't read our signs. They can't, they have no clue.
Exactly.
So
But now Arkansas is trying to pass this law saying that if you come through their state, you get pulled over, you cannot speak English, you're here on a visa, that your truck will be impounded. It'll be a $10,000 to $15,000 fine, and your truck will be impounded immediately.
I know. I know.
And I think if they do it, every other state is gonna, except for the blue states, all the red states are gonna fall on that bandwagon and do it too.
Well, it's so I thought it was a federal law. We'll have to ask John.
It is a federal law, but it doesn't matter because they don't. So we talked to a DOT guy one time. We have a scale right by our house, and we stopped and I asked him, I said, why do you guys not pull over half of these foreigners? And they said, why? They can't speak English. We can't get our point across. So they're failing also.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they figure, well, why? They don't speak English. We can't talk to them.
I can remember back in the 70s and 80s, it was a thing. I was living in Lowell, and they wanted to make Lowell Spanish speaking, and they fought back and said, no, this is an English speaking country. You have to speak English because they wanted everything to be done in Spanish. And now you go to places, I don't know if you have Lowe's out there,
Mm-hmm.
and everything is half English and half Spanish. Do you ever
I
notice
went to the doctor's office the other day, and I guess I haven't paid attention, but I was filling out my form because we had got a different insurance company, so we had to fill out our form. And at the bottom of the form, it said those dreaded words. It was like, "Do you relate to being a woman or a man?" And it's like,
I saw that on mine too.
did you see that on yours too? I'm like, what the hell?
I know. What are your pronouns?
What?
Let me think. Alien.
Yes.
I'm a blue person.
It's like, why are you asking me this? Maybe it's because we come from an older generation. I don't know. I guess I don't realize a lot about what's going on with this newer generation because I can't relate to them at all because I think they're stupid and people can come at me, but I do.
I think most Americans really want to go back. No, you're not going back. People say, we're not in a revolution. We're not having any of that. We're just going back to normalcy.
Mhm.
We're getting away from this woke generation. And if someone calls me cisgender, I honestly I want to just punch them. I'm not cisgender. I'm a woman, okay?
Yeah.
I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm an aunt, I'm a sister, and I'm a friend. I am a woman. I don't want to be called cisgender. I don't care what binary or non binary or any of that stupid crap is. But unfortunately, I think you've got to be kind of weak minded. And I shouldn't say that because I have a lot. I'm not talking about gay people. I'm talking about the people that are not even know what they are people. You can't tell me a 14 or 15-year-old boy or girl wants to change their sex because they haven't had enough experience with sex to decide what they want. And then when you have adults telling them, "Oh yeah, you can do this. It's okay." Now, do you think they're going to tell that boy if he's on that mother? And you should see the mother. She's a wackadoodle. I mean, really. I have to tell you, I don't have a problem with people coloring their hair, but I have a when you're looking at me and your hair is like bright blue, you get all the tattoos and you get everything on your face, and then you're telling me about your kid. I'm like,
Oh wait,
yeah,
where'd I
and
go?
are you there? You're here.
Crap.
I can see you. Can you hear us? I can hear you. You're in.
Am I still here, Cheryl?
Yeah. Yep. Cheryl's not here. But yeah, you're still in. Cheryl said she's really stuck. Otherwise, she'd be here. But oh, you know what I want to? Oh, where'd she go? Did I just lose her? Yes, I did. But that's okay. I want to give a shout out while we're waiting for Lisa to come back. Well, this is a problem with technology sometimes. I wanted to give out a shout out, a happy birthday to Sherry Moore from She Trucking. She hit the big 50.
Am
Hey,
I back?
you're back.
Oh my gosh.
I just gave a shout out to Sherry Moore because her birthday was last week. She's 50.
And my husband was calling, and I went to click ignore, and then he just kept calling and calling, and I'm like,
Yeah.
he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm doing the radio show. And he's like, oh shit, I forgot. It's like, yeah, you forget everything. I said, I'll call you back.
So, I mean, anyway, I forgot what I was talking about because I'm tired. I have to go to work tomorrow.
We did.
I was talking about that mother, right?
Yes.
And I was thinking, you're telling this whole panel of men and women in Congress at a committee meeting about your son's erections. And I'm thinking, I'm kind of glad in a way because at least she didn't give him the puberty blockers. Because what happens when you give a male puberty blockers, it stops their testicles from growing. And there's only one problem. When you stop them, your testicles still won't grow. So you're going to have all kinds of issues. So I don't know if kids, and I don't think kids understand that whole process, but we do. So I'm looking at this mother and I'm thinking, what is wrong with, I mean, people, you just want to go wake the hell up. We need women to start actually protesting for women. For women, like real women really doing things that matter. I mean, we have some great women that we can look up to. Of course, we haven't had any in a while, but you know something? I gotta tell you, I think Melania Trump, I think people should, the media should really focus on some of the things that she does and the things that she has done. Not many of our president's wives have been able to speak, read, and write 5 different languages.
I think she's very elegant and very beautiful.
Oh, she's beautiful.
We focus a lot in America on the negative.
Yeah,
on the things
that's our media, and that's our media.
Exactly, on the things that are going wrong. We don't focus on the things that are going right. Like the other night. So what I was most appalled about when Trump gave his inaugural speech was the Democrats didn't stand up for that little boy, and that just pissed me the hell off.
Oh, I know.
Or for that Lincoln
Riley.
I
thought that was awful. I thought that was disgusting.
Yeah, they are for that Lincoln Riley when he renamed that sanctuary after her. It's like they're childish. And you've got, at some point in your life, you have to put away that childish fucking behavior and act like an adult.
Jeffries, I mean, how come Jeffries? They're a leader in the Democrat Party. He's awful. And of course, if you say anything, if you're white, he turns around and says, you're only saying it because you're racist. And that, I am so sick of the freaking race card. I don't, even our black sisters and our Indian sisters out there, we're sick of it because you know something? Our children, I don't care what color you are, they're all children. They're not dumb. They all can be brought up. They all can be something. But with this media and this woke crap, they're not going to be anything because we're holding them back. We're holding ourselves back. I'm tired of the race card.
We're constantly telling people don't like this because of just like the whole white privilege thing we talked about last week.
Well, where the hell is my privilege? I'm still waiting.
No, I don't even know where mine is.
Did you get some this week? Did anybody out there get any this week?
I didn't get any white privilege. I've been, doing laundry, doing dishes, cleaning. It's like, I don't have any white privilege. I don't know.
I'm not making any more money than a black person. So give me a break.
See, and that's where I don't understand. So just like in the trucking community, you don't make any more based on the color of your skin. You make more money based on the knowledge you have and how long you've been doing your experience.
And
that's where you make more money.
That's the same with teaching. So
yes.
I mean, that's how it should be. That's like with Musk going in there and clearing house and getting rid of all these employees. I mean, the government is the biggest employer in this country, and that's how it should not be because it's off our backs.
So how do you feel about him wanting to get rid of the Department of Education?
I love it.
I was going to ask you because you being a teacher, I thought I'm going to get your view.
Going to tell you, I've worked for both. Most of us grew up without the government in our education in the state, and we had pretty good education. And then when the government came with all the tests, so now we teach the test. We used to teach the kneecap. We teach right now the iReadies, and you have all these other testing that get taught. So do our kids know how to read, write, and do math or anything else? The STEM. No, they don't. Now, STEM is your science, technology, engineering. It's actually called STEAM, but we added the A to it because it's science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. We threw the arts in there because arts are a really important part of a kid's education. You need to have different arts: cooking, sewing, music, choir. You need all those types of arts, and get the government out of there. Let the states manage their money. If your school is failing, you're going to get less money. So guess what? The state handles the money, and the state will just say, "Oh, this town over here in Rye, your scores are really low. If you want money for your school, you better get those scores up." So what do you think's going to happen? They
They're
want
going to get
money,
those
and
scores
then the
up so they
schools.
can get their money.
Exactly. The
But
scores. Yes, you'll have teachers that will teach. And when I say teach, they need to teach reading, writing, math, geography, all the subjects. Instead of, honey, I know you're having a bad day. How do you feel? Are you feeling like this? Or you feel like a kitten? Come into my office and we'll give me a frickin' break about this crap.
so when we went to school, and I assume you're how old are you?
I'm old.
Okay, I'm 55.
I'm old.
So I'll be 56 this year. But when I went to school, we actually learned different things. We had cooking class, we had shop. I think I even took typing, if I remember correct. I took a
Yes, we had
typing class.
typing, yes.
Yes. But we had, home ec. We had shop class. We had all these different things that you actually used when you left school.
Well, now we have seniors we had civics. You had civics in high school. You learned about and when you were in third and fourth grade, long time ago, you learned about your state. You knew everything about
Yeah.
your state, and you learned capitals from the other states. You know that there was 50 states. Now, I was working when I was in Florida. I was getting ready to go on my pregnancy leave, and on the board, I wrote. For part of their quiz, because when you in the prison system you have all ages, so you have to do a lot of different things. And I had said, name me the two Washingtons and what they do in this country. Now the lady that was coming to take my place just graduated from college. She goes, "Oh, can you leave me all the answers?" I'm like, okay, yep, this is gonna be great.
I just don't think that. So we have a neighbor, and their son is 30. I think he's 33. He went all the way through junior high and high school, got out of high school, and he could not read or write.
No, that's true.
But
That
they
happens a lot today.
pushed him
Well,
through and
Bush,
graduated him.
because when Bush wasn't there, he put this No Child Left Behind. So
Yeah.
we're not allowed to flunk students. So if we go back to the states, we don't have that federal regulation anymore. And none of that, honestly, I'm in the union and I'm a union rep, and I'm probably going to get bounced out of that because I think they've done a great disservice. I think Randy Weingarten is a piece of crap, and she needs to go. She makes over $500,000 a year, and she makes that off our union dues. I'm not getting a raise. I don't get any of that. We don't. We struggle. We
Yeah.
struggle. But I mean, there's just so much going on, and they put so many diversions. I mean, and us. It's just like it's just like with like Prince Harry and his wife. I mean, they're in the news constantly. Like, honey, there's no prince and princesses in America. We got rid of that. You know,
But if they have the No
but
Child
it's just
Left
a
Behind,
distraction.
do you feel that they're just setting children up for a fall? Because yeah, you have a No Child Left Behind in junior high and high school and whatever, but then when you go off to college, you fail. There is no, you get to go on to the next
Oh,
semester.
honey,
If you don't
I got
pass
to
your
tell you,
lessons.
I know people that have gone through college and even got their masters.
See,
Not
our
only not
daughter, no,
only don't they have common sense, they don't know anything. So
See, in Sierra in nursing school, no, she has to have a certain.
nursing is a lot different.
Yeah, she has to have her GPA at a certain point, or she has to redo everything.
Yeah. So I know, I get that, but
And it's so I feel that some of these children are being absolutely set up for a fall because they get out of high school and they have no clue how the world works. It's crazy. Nobody can balance a checkbook anymore. Nobody even knows how to write a check.
no.
Half the people in America don't even have checks.
Yeah.
You're just not taught how to do anything in school now that helps you be a member of our fucking society.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's very sad that this is what when you think about it, I look at our kids and I think, this is our future. Do I even want to be?
I know. Well, I just think it should go back to the states because then, the money gets distributed and the states can decide what's going to go on and how their education in that state's going to be like it used to be, and that's how it should be. And I mean, you're still going to have unions, which is fine, but the union has to stop holding parents hostage. They have to stop all that. I personally think special ed should be revised in a different way. You're always going to have special ed. Great, let's get them the help they need, and that needs to be relooked at. I mean, a lot of things need to be relooked at because how much do you think people are going to pay and keep paying? Because honestly, send my kids to private school, to Catholic school, because I know too much about public school.
See,
I hate to say that, but that's,
it's true. And I know a lot of people homeschool their kids. We were blessed to raise our child in a small town, small community,
yes, a small town.
school.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, so we never had to worry too much about, what was going on at the school because our town population is 2,000. I mean, we don't have a big town.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
That's
how it was when I was growing up here.
Yeah, and but now it's like, people ask, well, how many were in your daughter's graduating class? And it's like, I think 30. I mean, it's a small town.
Yes.
I think that they pay a little bit more attention to the students sometimes in the smaller towns than they do in the like Chicago or the bigger cities.
I know.
But that's our future. That is the kids who eat Tide Pods is our future.
Yeah, I know. I get it. It's awful.
It is.
And unfortunately, what the kids are seeing is, if you cry loud enough, you get what you want. I mean, now they're going to start trying to impeach Trump. They're going to start all that stuff again. It didn't matter if 72 million people voted for him. It didn't matter that people that pay your salaries wanted him to come in and do this stuff. But they'll find a way. They're just going to keep finding a way till they can get rid of him.
Everybody gets a trophy. Nobody fails at anything. If you're on you want to be on the football team and you can't run, or okay, well,
you have to understand too. Why are we dumbing? Why is America dumbing down?
Yeah.
Because if we make people smart, then people can think for themselves, and they're not gonna vote the way they want them to vote.
Exactly.
They're not going to look into where the money's going. They're not going to look into any of that. They're not going to have somebody like Trump or Musk or somebody else. Biden ordered one of his things that he did was we had those people, all that people in space, and he ordered not to do anything about it. He refused to do anything about it. So Musk had to go in and bring those people back, or try to. I don't know if that came back yet, but I think he's trying to get them to bring them back.
Just like when we had all those terrible floods and Elon Musk sent Starlinks out to everybody. It's like, oh, so he's a horrible person, but yet he helped how many people being able to communicate and still
what did FEMA do? FEMA did nothing.
Yeah.
They gave billions of dollars to illegal immigrants when Americans were suffering.
Yeah.
I guess that's okay. I guess we're just supposed to suck it up and say, well, that's okay. And there's a lot of people that say that, well, that's okay. We should be sending money to Africa. Why? They hate us. Why are we sending money to Syria? Why are we sending money to the Taliban?
See, and that's what I don't get. Why do we have so many homeless people in America, but yet we're sending all of our money somewhere else to help them first, and we're not
Oh,
helping the people here first?
oh, I know. It is a crime.
You know, when I go to a grocery store and there's an older lady in front of me and she's choosing whether to pay for her medicine or buy food,
I know.
it's ridiculous.
I know. And I know. And we don't. People on Social Security don't make enough in this country.
No, they don't. And, you know, just like me and Scott talk about all the time, you know, we don't have a 401k because we're self employed in the trucking industry. We don't
Yeah.
have a 401k. So, you know, we just sock money away here and there because when we go to retire, there's going to be nothing there for us.
Yep. And it should be but they're sending trillions and trillions of dollars that could go into the Social Security fund. They're sending that to other countries.
Yeah.
They're sending money to countries that don't recognize gay people to start them to forcing them to like gay people for money.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's awful, but you know that's how it usually goes, isn't it?
Yeah.
But actually, it's going on 5. Lisa, so glad you came. I hope everybody enjoyed the brew. We will see you next weekend at 4:00. Have a great week. Don't get in trouble because it's kind of hard for me not to get in trouble.
I know. Me too.
I can't tell which clock is which right here, but I think it's 4:00. I hate the time change. I really hate the time change.
When you texted me, it's like I was going through this drawer and it's like, oh shit, it's time already. And then I was trying to log on and my phone hates me. And it's like, oh my gosh, I need to get my shit together.
The time change is awful.
Yeah, and now we have daylight savings time today too.
It takes me weeks to get over it.
Yeah, so I was looking at my clock in the living room and not paying attention.
Yeah, my clock here says 4:00.
Yeah.
And my watch says 5:00. It's analog, so it's all set. So I don't know, John. Are we on the right time here? I hope so.
It is. It's 4:00.
All right, sounds like a good plan for us. Should be coming up. Log off should be coming up, I would think, but I don't hear it.
We've been on here for 57 minutes and 58 seconds. I wonder if
I
we were
see
a
that.
bit late.
I don't know. I don't know what he did. I don't care.
What'd you do, John?
Late, and we had that 5-minute little prelude there where we were trying.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. So we're still going off at 5?
Well, you can just go on. You let me know when you want to be done.
Yeah, we're done. I think we're done. I got a lot. It's 5:01, so I got,
All right, you want to end the thing?
I can smell my homemade soup. I gotta go turn it off. Bye, TJ. Bye, Ellie.
Bye.
Bye, guys. We'll have to get some guests coming on. We've got to work on that. I'll try to do that. You too this week.
I will. I'll call you people.
All right.
I think I'd like to get like Pam on here. She's an old bull hauler. She's been bull hauling for like 40 some years. I'd love to have her on the show.
Yeah, let's get her on and talk to her.
I would love to have her on the show to talk about how women's have changed since she started trucking to the way it is now.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I'll give her a call this week.
All right, you take care. You have a great week.
Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.